What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be showcasing another set of battles featuring triple starters in Ultra League. Now in my previous week's videos, I showcased triple KANTO and triple HOENN starters, which are independently pretty difficult to use, especially the triple HOENN team. So I decided to actually take the best fire, grass and water types from different regions and put them together and see how that would work out. So for the fire type option, I went for Charizard because Charizard is objectively the best fire type in Ultra League. I mean, the other competitor would be Typhlosion, but I prefer Charizard because of its flying typing. It resists the ground and fighting moves as well, which is really useful. And for the water type, I picked Swampert. Now, it's pretty much a no-brainer in terms of which the best water type option is because Swampert is just so OP. Now, you could run Feraligatr instead of Swampert because it has Ice Fang and Crunch, which provides the coverage against Giratina. But it's very hard for me to leave Swampert out, right? Because it's just so OP and I'd love having it in my team. Now, grass type option, it's kind of debatable. You could go either with Venusaur or the Sceptile. The reason I go in with Sceptile in this case is because to provide a little more protection against Giratina. Now, Venusaur would do great against the Charmers and it's a little more bulky as well. But I think the only reason I have Sceptile right here, especially with Dragon Claw in this particular team combination, I'm going to be running it with Dragon Claw, is just to provide that little more protection against Giratina, which typically most starter teams struggle against, right? So that's the basic team combination here. I'm not running Earthquake on Sceptile simply because I have two hard steel counters in the form of Charizard and Swampert, so I don't necessarily need Earthquake on Sceptile. It's the Giratina coverage that I need. But it's not a perfect set of battles. Like I said, these triple starter teams are pretty difficult to use and have positive sets with. But overall, I think this was a pretty positive set. So without giving too much away, let's just get straight into the battles. Okay, moving on to the first battle right here. I'm going to be leading with Charizard and then having Sceptile and Swampert in the back. Now you could lead with anything, but I prefer leading with Charizard for this particular team comp. Now we've met with a Caesar. This is the best matchup you can ask for. Expecting a switch out into Alolan Muck. This is perfect. So I can go immediately into Swampert. So we have the perfect team combination for this, right? So now they're going to get off a Dark Pulse right here. I'm going to shield this up because I want to save some health on my Swampert. Dark Pulse would still do quite a bit of damage to Swampert. So I'm just going to overfarm just a little bit and then throw the Hydro Cannon. So really trying to pressure shields from this Alolan Muck right here. And they decide to give up a shield, which is understandable. And at this point, I'm just going to double shield. That's fine because Swampert can generate energy so quickly that no matter what they do, I'm going to be able to win this matchup. So I'm just going to overfarm just a little bit again. Going to build up all the way to an Earthquake and then throw the Hydro Cannon here. Definitely trying to pressure their second shield. But they decided to let that go through, which is fine. At this point, I'm just going to commit to the Mud Shot farm down. I might have to eat a charge move right here. Dark Pulse would do quite a bit. But I'm going to come out of this matchup with so much energy, right? That's the key. So I'm just going to commit to the Mud Shot farm down here. And we have so much energy right now. And Giratina Altered comes in, so I'm just going to immediately go for the Earthquake. I'm really hoping this goes through because Giratina, I mean, this team struggles a little bit against Giratina. Luckily, we land the Earthquake. That does like so much damage. That's huge, right? Being able to get off that damage is absolutely massive. At this point, I'm just going to come in with Sceptile because I want to preserve my Charizard for the Caesar. So they're going to get off a charge move right here. These Dragon Breaths and Dragon Claws would definitely start adding up onto Sceptile. And like I said, this is exactly why I have Dragon Claw. It's going to do super effective damage against Giratina. Even though it doesn't have stab and doesn't do too much, it's definitely going to chip away, especially with Bullet Seed and Sceptile's energy generation. It's definitely going to add up over time. But at this point, they're going to get off another charge move right here. This is definitely going to finish off Sceptile. They still have a shield, but they have a Caesar in the back. So this is still looking pretty good for us. I'm going to immediately throw the Dragon Claw and try and get that final shield or get rid of this Giratina. I'm expecting a shield because they wouldn't want their Caesar to go up against Charizard. And because I had quite a bit of energy from the opening matchup, I'm going to be able to get to the second Dragon Claw before they're able to get to a charge move. So this Dragon Claw should definitely finish off the Giratina Altered right here. And Caesar's going to come in, then there's nothing they can do. So they decide to give up the match, which is understandable. And that's a pretty positive start to this set. Like I said, I mean, this was a case where we had the perfect hard counters that even though they had a Giratina in the back, we were able to handle it because we won the lead so hard there. I mean, that was you can't ask for a better matchup as a Charizard, right? So we have Charizard into Feraligatr. This is the exact opposite. This is not a good matchup at all for us. We'll have to wait and see. And it's also a Waterfall Feraligatr. So I'm immediately going to save switch into Swampert and they go into Venusaur. This is the exact opposite of the first game where we get hard counter. And they're going to get off Charge Ball. I'm going to shield this up because we have a lot of energy and I don't want it to go waste. And I'm just going to overfarm just a little bit and throw the Hydro Cannon here. I'm really trying to bait out a shield because I can still get to an Earthquake, right? So I'm really hoping they shield this up, but unfortunately they let it go through. But I'm going to be able to get to this Earthquake just in time here. I'm really hoping they let this go through because if they do, I'm going to be able to win back switch advantage, which is huge. But unfortunately they shield that up and it's pretty much GG's already, right? Because once you lose switch advantage like that, there's not a lot you can do. This probably just going to be this is going to be a sludge bomb. It's going to do quite a bit, but I can't really afford to shield at this point. I'm just going to commit to the fire spin farm down, but they're going to get off another charge bomb. Really hoping this is frenzy plant and not sludge bomb because we double resist frenzy plant. Unfortunately, it's a sludge bomb and takes out the Charizard. So it's all up to Sceptile right here, and they're going to make a switch into Alolan Muck. This is GG's. Again, like I said, they had perfect hard counters to everything. I mean, here, I guess this is one of those scenarios where having Earthquake on Sceptile would have helped because that would have done super effective damage and pretty much one-shot it. But we faked an Earthquake there and went for the Dragon Claw. We got the shield, but at this point, there's not a lot I can do but to just throw Dragon Claws because Leaf Blade would be resisted. Doesn't really do that much, to be honest. It just, I mean, probably does only as much as a Leaf Blade would do. Probably Leaf Blade would do even more, even though it's resisted. But I'm going to shield this up. Unfortunately, I mean, it's a Dark Pulse. Could have probably survived that, but I was worried about a Sludge Wave. But we have so much energy, I'm just going to have to just continue to spam these Dragon Claws and hopefully get rid of this Alolan Muck before they're able to get to a charge move, which doesn't really look like it's going to be possible because they're going to get off another charge move right here. And this is probably going to be a Sludge Wave and it's going to do super effective damage and take out Sceptile. So they win with all three Pokemon left. Like I said, there's not a lot you can do when you get hard countered like that. It's basically just rock, paper, scissors, right? When you lose the lead and they have the perfect hard counter for your save switch, then there's nothing you can do. But anyways, moving into the third battle, I think these kind of things happen, especially when you're running triple starter teams like this. It's pretty difficult to use. But anyways, we have Charizard into Venusaur. Very, very positive lead again this time. And expecting a switch out immediately. They make a switch into Lapras. So I'm going to immediately go into Sceptile because Sceptile has a pretty positive matchup against Lapras. Now, even though those ice shots are definitely chunking away, Sceptile with Bullet Seed is going to be able to generate energy very quickly. And Leaf Blade is going to do super effective damage. Does a lot of damage to Lapras. At this point, I'm just going to shield this up because even if it's Surf, I can't afford to take any additional damage apart from the damage that the ice shots are already doing. Luckily, I mean, we shield that up because it's an Ice Beam. Immediately going to throw the Leaf Blade here. This is definitely going to finish off Lapras if it goes unshielded. Let's see what they decide to do here. They decided to let this go through. This is fine. So I maintain switch advantage. They're going to come back in with Venusaur. I'm going to go immediately for the Dragon Claw. Now, Dragon Claw would be neutral. I think this is one of those matchups where you want to go Dragon Claw because Leaf Blade is double resisted. So Dragon Claw is definitely going to do a little bit more. Doesn't do a whole lot, but definitely going to start chipping away. But we lose the CMP there, which is absolutely fine. I'm going to let it go through because I can just come in with Charizard and farm for a lot of energy. So at this point, I'm just going to come in with Charizard right here. And this probably is going to be a Sludge Bomb. But again, I can't afford to shield at this point because they still have a shield advantage. And they make a switch into Granbull. So I'm going to have to switch into Swampert. I build up to a Blast Burn and then switch into Swampert. I probably should have thrown the Blast Burn, to be honest, because I could have pressured the shield from the Granbull. But now I'm just going to throw the Hydro Cannon. Swampert is going to be able to outpace. They'll let that go through. That is huge. So that's very positive for Swampert. I'm going to shield this up because if it's crunch or close combat, it would do quite a bit of damage. It's a close combat, so luckily I shield that up. So that probably would have taken Swampert out. I can just commit to the Mud Shot farm down, but Venusaur is going to come back in and farm for quite a bit of energy, right? I'm going to go straight for the Hydro Cannon, trying to pressure the shield right here. They still have two shields, so they shield that up, which is absolutely fine. So I'm just going to go for the next Hydro Cannon. I'm really hoping that this gets the shield because I have a Blast Burn on Charizard and Charizard wins CMP against Venusaur. But if they don't shield this, it's going to be tricky. They don't shield that. So this is a pretty tricky situation. So I'm just going to go for the Dragon Claw right here. We have back-to-back Dragon Claws, but they have a lot of loaded energy as well. Like I said, Charizard wins CMP, but they still have a shield. They can shield that up. And I'm going to try and get to this another Dragon Claw, but unfortunately, they're able to get to a charge move. So very, very close game again. Could have probably won this, but in spite of winning the lead, I guess, yeah, I mean, they played that really well. They managed their energy perfectly, as you guys saw there, and they deserved the win. It's fine. I mean, these kind of close games, even when you lose, you don't feel too bad about it because it was a great game at the end of the day. Anyways, we that's 1-2 in the set, but we do make a comeback here. We have Charizard into Swampert, absolutely terrible lead, right? This is the worst lead for Charizard, and I'm just gonna immediately save switch into my own Swampert. This is not ideal because they have the energy advantage, but the good thing though is they're staying in this matchup, which is why I'm gonna shield, because if they switch out of this matchup, I still want to preserve some health on my Swampert to be potentially able to win switch advantage, and but they're still staying in this matchup, so I'm just gonna throw the Hydro Cannon here, and they're probably going to shield this because we shielded as well. And like I said, they're slightly ahead on energy, right? So they're probably going to, if they play this out, they can win this matchup. And they're going to throw the Hydro Cannon. I'm not going to shield this because I'm going to have to shield one of those eventually anyways. But just going to throw the next Hydro Cannon here. Let's see if they decide to shield this up. They decided to let that go through as well. They are mirroring what we're doing here, which is completely understandable. And they're going to get off another Hydro Cannon. I'm going to shield this up because I want to pressure their final shield as well. And yeah, slightly long drawn out fight here. Swampert mirror. But it goes by pretty quickly. So I'm just going to go for the next Hydro Cannon here. This should pressure the shield from the Swampert. They decide to give up the shield, which is understandable because they're going to be able to beat us to the charge move. And this Hydro Cannon should finish off Swampert. But it's fine. I'm going to be able to come back in with Sceptile and farm for quite a bit of energy. So I'm just going to come in with Sceptile right here. Bullet Seed is doing super effective damage. And I'm really hoping I can completely farm it before they get off charge move. But unfortunately, they're able to get to a Hydro Cannon. It's fine. It's going to do a decent amount of damage. But we have a lot of energy at this point. Let's see what they decide to bring in here. They're going to come in with Caesar. So I'm going to immediately go into Charizard. And they make a switch into Machamp. So now it's a race to the charge move. I'm going to have to get to this Blast Burn before they're able to get to a Rock Slide. I'm able to get it just in time. Now this has to finish off Machamp, right? Otherwise it's going to be a GG's. And it finishes off Machamp. Blast Burn is just so OP and they decide to give up the match right there. So yeah, I mean, there's not a lot Caesar can do against Charizard, but I basically had to get rid of the Machamp, right? Because Rock Slide would one-hit KO the Charizard, and Sceptile, especially with Dragon Claw and Leaf Blade, doesn't really have too much play against a Caesar. So I guess it worked out perfectly for us, and that was a pretty good game. Anyways, moving into the final battle of the set, we are 2-2 right now, and let's hope we can go positive. Met with another Venusaur again. It's been either a hard lead loss or a hard lead won, right? So they're making a switch into Charizard. I can go into Swampert. Now this is already GG's at this point because, like I said, we have the perfect hard counters right here. I'm not going to shield this because Blast Burn is still doing quite a bit of damage. I was actually expecting a Dragon Claw bait, but it's fine because I'm going to be able to get off two Hydro Cannons even if they shield this before they're able to get to another charge move. Hydro Cannon coming through gets this Charizard. I mean, they decide to let that go through, which is understandable. Now I can commit to the Mud Shot farm down, right? Venusaur is going to come back in, but I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake. This is going to either pressure the shield from the Venusaur or do massive amount of neutral damage because of the Grass Poison typing. Does so much damage, puts it into the red. That is huge. So they do farm us down for quite a bit of energy. I'm going to come back in with Charizard and completely commit to the Fire Spin farm down. I'm going to shield this up because I want to preserve some health on my Charizard in case they have something in the back which is weak to Charizard. And they make a switch into Steelix. This is beautiful. So I'm just going to overfarm just a little bit and throw the Dragon Claw here, really hoping to get a shield. And I'm just going to shield this up. This is going to be a crunch, which is going to do neutral damage, but I want to preserve the health on my Charizard. And I'm really hoping to get a shield right here because they still have two shields, so it's still not over yet. So just going to throw the Dragon Claw here, and they don't shield. That is huge. That was a very gutsy call by them. So I'm just going to switch into Sceptile and go for the Leaf Blade. Now, Leaf Blade would do neutral damage to Steelix because of the Steel Ground typing. And Leaf Blade is such a good move that it would do quite a bit. And we get the first shield, which is good. They're going to get off a charge move right here. It's going to be Crunch because they're not going to go for Earthquake because that would be resisted. Crunch is still going to do a decent amount of neutral damage to Sceptile. But because Sceptile generates energy so quickly, I'm going to be able to spam them with Leaf Blades, right? Another Leaf Blade coming through. This should pressure the final shield or get this Steelix low. We get the final shield. This is perfect. They make a switch into Venusaur. So I'm going to immediately throw the Leaf Blade here because it's very difficult to farm a Venusaur down with Bullet Seed because Bullet Seed is not a very high damaging move and also it's double resisted. So gonna get rid of this Venusaur here. And like I said, Sceptile generates energy so quickly that I'm going to be able to get to another Leaf Blade. This should get the Steelix incredibly low. And after this, I'm just going to probably switch immediately into Charizard. because I don't want them to farm. But luckily, it ends up being a CMP tie. That's even better. That is the best case scenario. They're going to get off charge move. That's fine. We have a lot of loaded energy on Charizard, and I'm immediately going to go for the Blast Burn here. Even Dragonclaw would have done it at this point, but might as well just finish off in style, and Charizard is basically able to take the win yet again. And that's going to be a 3-2 set. So we managed to go positive with a triple starter team, and I think that's a big win for me. Being able to go 3-2 with a triple starter team is, especially in the Ultra League meta, it's fairly challenging. So I think it's not bad. I mean, I probably could have gone 4-1. I think that game where Venusaur got off the last second Sludge Bomb, that was pretty close. But I think those kind of things happen. It's fine. So anyways, again, like I said, if you want to try a triple starter team out, I would highly recommend this team. It's not a team that I would recommend if you want to climb up battle rating points, but it's a lot of fun to use. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next one.